14 minutes remain.
Well, if we're looking for stuff to do,
Oh, yeah.
I have another curated batch of bus holes
Ah.
with a theme today.
There's a theme today.
There's a theme.
All
What
right.
are these bus holes?
Oh, man, I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah.
We need more game
You'll
tea.
like it. Yeah, you'll like this.
The revenge. We have a revenge-themed episode.
All right, yeah.
Good.
And apparently a logo already?
Yeah, Chan-Wook Park presents Am I the Busshole?
Well, all right.
All right.
I didn't realize there was one. Do you want to swap places, Jordan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, incredible. I didn't think we already had a logo. That's wild.
Ooh, that was crisp.
That was crisp.
Telling you.
Ooh.
Crisp and clean.
Elbow.
Always.
It's all about the bows. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Am I the Busshole, where we get a peek into other people's lives, whether they are real or fake or not. I think we've determined a number of them to be fantasy.
Yeah. My personal game with this when I encounter them organically is like a sub. So it's like, am I the bus hole? And then I'm playing a side game of, am I a writing exercise?
Yes, yeah. Am I being delivered to my language arts teacher at the end of this?
I think there's actually a subreddit called Am I the Angel, which is just everyone identifying Am I the Busshole posts where someone is clearly in the right but wants praise for it.
Oh, I see. Well, it's funny you actually mentioned Am I the Angel, because the first one that we've got today is actually a post that started off on Am I the Busshole, and then got cross-posted to Am I the Devil? Ooh. Which is where the real bad boys go.
All right.
So, our first story of the day we've got is, well, I guess it's less of a Am I the Busshole and more of a like Today I Bust Up, but it's a combo of the two, so we would love to get your opinions on it. I controlled my neighbor's TV for 6 months from my phone and made him sell the TV. Now I regret it.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say yes.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Okay.
I'm also noticing a theme of people starting bits and then taking them way too far.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I mean, after the potato episode yesterday, like...
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
story.
But yeah, messed with it for 6 months.
6 months, that's
And
commitment.
then the neighbor sold the TV.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming this is gonna be like smart TV app,
Almost assuredly.
unsecured Wi-Fi network.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, it'd be funny, like if you could crank up the voltage in your remote and like control your neighbor's Sony from across the road.
Yeah.
But
But usually that stops after like a day.
yeah,
like
because you gotta go
evening.
stand in the
But-
street and like point it through your window.
We don't know the whole story though. Like
Yeah,
they're neighbors. There could already be some
could be some friction. It's true. Well,
there could be like a tree that's leaning over the fence.
If this
There could
dips
be,
into tree law, then
yeah.
There's been a couple of ones that I've seen that's like people like purposely planting like bamboo on their like fence lines and stuff like that, so that it like goes over, because that stuff goes like
Everywhere.
it grows like bamboo.
Yeah, it does actually.
All right, so last year I had a busshole neighbor who always would be playing loud music. Be rude to everyone, and also not pick up his dog poop when they would go on walks right outside.
I knew there'd be friction.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew this was in response to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dog had a barking problem too, but I'm not hating on the dog. One evening, with the internet and for giggles, I decided to connect to my neighbor's Wi-Fi with the password 0123456789, and guess what? It connected. The same evening at 11 p.m., I started hearing drum and bass music from my neighbor's upstairs apartment as usual, and all of a sudden, I see a pop-up appear on my phone. I have a Samsung phone, and when you open the YouTube app on any Samsung Smart TV, a pop-up appears on your phone with the TV-casted YouTube app, as long as you have both devices on the same Wi-Fi network. You have full control of TV YouTube on your phone. Pause, play, volume, skip, the whole 9 yards. At first, I didn't realize what this pop-up was, and I thought, what is this? But there were options like the ones I described. I pressed pause, and all of a sudden, there was silence in my neighbor's apartment. After a few seconds, the music started again, and I saw that the play button turned to a pause button on my phone. I pressed pause again, and the music disappeared. And behind the wall, I hear, "What the bus?" I cannot describe the feeling I had in that moment. My facial expression must have looked like Chris Pratt from the meme in Parks and Rec, the "Oh snap" one. The music started again, and I pressed pause. Now I'm hearing grunts and profanities from my neighbor, and I could feel his confusion and anger through the walls. I kept messing with him that evening, pausing, skipping videos, turning up the volume, and then turning it down. He tried turning his TV on and off, logging in and out of his YouTube account, and nothing seemed to work, and he was very pissed off. I then continued to do this for days, and you could tell that he was starting to get more and more angry. He switched to Spotify, I'm guessing, for music, because it never happened again, but still, every time he wanted to watch a podcast or some videos, I was there waiting for him to feel my wrath. Throughout the next few months, I heard him call customer support multiple times. My walls are very thin, making him reset the TV to factory settings, logging in and out of YouTube multiple times. Sometimes I would stop messing with him for a couple of days to give him hope. Then, all of a sudden, I hear him watching some comedy podcast, and I would start doing it again. I could hear him scream. So long story short, that was definitely not. After 6 months of this, I'm walking down the hallway and I see a random couple carrying his TV out of his apartment and him holding cash in his hands. I drove him to selling the TV and buying a new one, and in that moment, I kind of felt bad and started to regret my actions. So, am I the busshole or am I the busshole?
Yes. Yes. Emphatic as yes as possible.
It was 6 months is a long time.
This person played music aloud one time.
Well, I assume they because the poster implied that they're like, well, he did his his nightly drum and bass thing.
Yeah.
But like,
Sounds habitual.
human interaction is generally step one. Like,
Not if you're a millennial.
I mean, it should be.
How dare you?
I wait until the DoorDash man is long gone before I go grab my food from the front door.
As someone who once had a downstairs neighbor play I Heard It on the Grapevine at full volume on repeat for 6 straight hours starting at 3 a.m. The madness does sink in. I can empathize with that side of it, but also Sarah pointed out that we might be looking at fiction here because he's privy to details about logging in and out of the account.
Yeah,
so
how
at
would
the
they know
very
that?
least, things have been inferred or confabulated into it.
I would assume that they're because the thing is there are people who definitely leave their password as 1 2 3 4 5 6.
Yeah, that part.
And I'm just I fully believe they could have gotten on the Wi-Fi, but there's definitely probably small fabrications here.
Yeah.
That is part of why I think it is fake.
Really?
Yeah, I think most of this didn't happen. I also want to double check there because at first it was an upstairs neighbor and then everything was through the walls.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean a roof is a wall.
Can I?
Of the head.
Yeah,
Can
but
I
also
jump-
I just happened to walk out and witness
That
him
part is
selling
way
the
too
TV, and then I
standing there
drove
with
him to the
cash.
store. There were a bunch of things that jumped out to me as this didn't happen.
Yeah.
But sorry, Mike, I cut off.
I was gonna say if you lie on the internet to make number go up, you are definitively the busshole.
Yeah.
So I'll back up the lie, sure. Still the busshole.
Realistically, I'm in the camp that I actually think this 100% happened, and they just punched up the
Yeah,
details.
sure.
That's where I'm at. And that's
Just
where I
amped
think
it up.
80% of Am I the Asshole or
You
Busshole stories.
Yeah.
Affected their purchase decisions. You made them buy a new TV. That's an actual crime.
Yeah, I've had flabbergasting things that neighbors do. I've had my neighbor upstairs neighbor full on just start doing guitar solo riffs at 2 o'clock in the morning.
And I
On, a
apologize.
Wednesday. and then we had a conversation after I messed with Jordan's Spotify account for 4 months.
Got an hour, Dad.
Yeah. No, we had another
Yep,
hour.
we got that next hour.
We did.
Let's go, Chad.
So consensus, this person's a busshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if they did it for one night, they would not be the busshole. They just did it once and then they got it out of their system.
I agree, but I am still at the point where I'm just if you had the power at any point when your upstairs neighbor is making a lot of noise and you control the device that the lot of noise is coming from, I think I would hold on to that power.
Yeah, but I think I'd get real subtle. Like I would get real subtle about it, and it would just become like a volume war.
Sure.
Like I'd just be sitting there, just
I
like
just-
slowly. It's like okay, like you mind game what's going on upstairs. It's like okay, walks over, turns it up, walks away to go do something. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then just like slowly.
Yeah.
Slowly ride it down.
Ride it down a little bit, and then it's like, but not off, and it's like just
Yeah.
turn it down to a nice normal volume, and wait for them to notice that it's not uncomfortable
Yeah,
anymore.
that was gonna be my question. Is are you riding it down like just slowly off to mess with them, or are you just turning it down to a reasonable volume so that it's not annoying you, the downstairs neighbor?
Yeah, I mean, it always
yeah,
also
that's-
just be like speaking as like a tech-ish savvy person, but it's like if the level of trolling that they were doing on this, if that started happening, I'm like, somebody's obviously logged into my account and
Yeah.
is doing
Yeah.
things, right?
That's how
Like, I
true
would,
crime starts.
yeah.
Once it starts feeling like a poltergeist,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's like probably Scooby-Doo rules.
Ruh-roh. It was
It's a
old
guy in
Mr.
a
Johnson.
rubber
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, they are in fact the bus hole, and I think most
Yeah.
people agree on that one. All right.
I just wanted to remind people
Yes,
we've got just
please do.
3 minutes left
3
on our
minutes.
giveaway for that awesome Envy Gaming armchair and ottoman. So get in your donations of just $8.01 or multiples thereof. This has been going extremely well so
Lord,
far, but get in your donations in the next couple of minutes for your chance to win that setup.
Yeah. I mean, last point I'll make in this is I have been the downstairs neighbor of the people who, like, you always hear stories about it, but I have been the downstairs neighbor of the bongo players at 3 a.m. Of the bongo circles happening.
Oh, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's been a real thing, and I have talked to those people, and they don't care.
Oh yeah, said
Yeah.
heard it on the grapevine. I went down and talked to him, and of course, like he was smashed out of this
Yeah.
universe. He apologized profusely and went and turned it down, and then promptly forgot our conversation.
Exactly. Yeah, right? Like, there's only so much you can do in those situations. All right, up next, continuing on with our revenge stories. Am I the busshole for switching to regular milk to prove my lactose intolerant roommate keeps stealing from me?
That's
No.
science. That's science, baby.
Yeah, like
King.
if they're stealing, like nah.
Like, yeah, not the asshole. 'Cause,
Yeah, like
you're-
it- like that's-
you haven't tainted food. You've just switched which milk you're
Yeah.
buying.
Right, right.
If you've labeled it with your name, I think that is the.
Yeah, it's very
covering
rarely
your
a
butt.
deterrent in these sort of situations.
Yeah.
So, me and 2 other guys are sharing an apartment together, and we split all the bills. The only thing we don't split on cost is groceries. Everyone is in charge of buying their own food, and we don't touch what I already hate situations like this, by the way.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
just cook together.
Yeah, it sounds
It's
like a
always a
nightmare.
problem. Everyone's in charge of buying their own food, and we don't touch whatever doesn't belong to us in the fridge. We put our names on everything so no one gets mixed up. The issue is, this issue though, has been going on for almost a year, and I'm sick of it. One of my roommates, R, we'll call him, keeps stealing my food. I get home from work, and containers with my leftovers are sometimes missing. They have my name written on them, or my stuff finishes too quick, like a gallon of milk, for example. I buy almond milk because I like the taste, but it seems to finish after a week, even though I've only drank it like once or twice. I confronted R about this lots of times, and that caused a lot of arguments, and he outright denies and tells me I'm being crazy, even though it's so obvious. My other roommate and I carpool together because we work some of the same early morning shifts around the same area, so I know it's not him. It's always after we get back home and R's already left for work. My roommates also had a similar problem, but not as often as I do. I'm guessing R doesn't like what they buy. The funny thing is, R buys a lot of food for himself and is even more stingy about his food. He would literally point out what's his when he comes back from the grocery store and tells everyone not to touch it. Last week, my milk was nearly empty and I got fed up. I went to the liquor store and I bought a regular dairy milk. I drank what was left of my almond milk and I drank what was left of my almond milk
Yeah.
and I refilled the gallon with the one that I had bought.
Yeah.
This was to catch/prove that R is the one stealing since he's lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
The next Saturday, we get back home from work and R is pissed. He yelled at me that he was stuck in the bathroom for 40 minutes because of my milk. He was using it to make a shake. I only responded, "So, you're the one who's been stealing the milk?" And he exploded. He admits that sometimes that he'll drink my milk and eating my food, but he was more mad that I switched the milks and the fact that he was caught. This basically is just a long thing. My roommates backed me up and thought it was kind of funny he got payback from stealing from us, but it's been a little intense, and now R is trying to kick me out of the apartment.
I don't understand food
Legend.
thieves.
No.
Yeah. Like food.
Am I the bustle? Yeah.
No. The food thief is the bus hole, and the food thief needs to leave.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
I don't understand
God.
people who just steal food.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely been situations where, like, if you're, like, 'cause my old roommate and I had, like, separate, like, food situations, and it would be, like, if she had a giant thing of sugar,
Yeah.
and I needed just, like, a teaspoon, I would take it and then text her.
And tell them, like, I
Yeah.
stole a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, my question. So, if you enacted this, I'm just adding a hypothetical to
Yeah.
this. If the roommate were to die,
Yeah.
because you killed them,
Yeah.
pretty sure that's a crime.
Yeah. 100%.
So, like, as long as they're fine, you are not the busthole.
Right, but as soon as you've committed
Yeah,
murder,
yeah, as soon as
that's
crime
pretty
is
moving to butter.
Yeah.
That's the line there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
Also,
course.
I don't want to have an opinion on almond milk gaslighting.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that every time we start talking about felonies, our lawyer just actively.
Yeah, perfect.
Hello,
Yeah,
Dan,
yeah.
right on time,
Yeah.
please.
That's actually a very interesting question. Because there's an idea where if you knew that they were like deathly allergic,
That's
and you knew
different.
That they
Yeah.
were,
Yeah,
they were
intolerance
doing
and
that.
allergy not the same.
Right. Then there's it's not murder because there may be this idea of whether or not you intended to kill them, if not just cause them severe harm. You can argue that it depends on what you know versus what you intend to do. Now, if you intended to cause them distress, then that if you intend to cause them distress, then it's probably some variation of assault depending on where you're from. You are probably guilty because you know that they're taking it and you know that this will cause them harm. There might be a pseudo defense saying, well, he's committing a crime of
Yeah,
theft.
does this legally count as a trap?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
is it a booby trap?
Yes,
Is this a booby trap?
And that's where you're probably swinging towards, because you can't claim any form of defense of property if you're not there.
But
I
you
like
were
the
aware
phrase
he was
gastric
lactose
entrapment.
intolerant.
Gastric
and you
entrapment's really
premeditated
good.
it.
Yeah.
Well, premeditation only really matters
If he dies. Which
Well,
was
no.
fine. I'll stop.
Sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
Premeditation matters only when it's an element of a crime. The idea is that you must form the intent before committing the crime.
You posted it on Reddit.
That happened
After.
afterwards.
How many more of these?
I got one more.
You got one more?
Yeah, I do.
A classic revenge trilogy.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dan, for the
That
insight.
was very
Yeah.
informative.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, no, I think cut and dry. If they were like, I'm allergic to this, nah. I'm
Yeah.
intolerant to this,
Yeah.
yeah. I think you're in the clear. I think it's a very creative solution. As soon as I was like, oh, if you just put the milk in, because I mean that could be a way that you do it too, right? You know that the lactose intolerant person's drinking your milk, and get other milk.
I could realistically, he got really farty for an after.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
I think it's safe to say, am I the busthole? Probably not. Like, you could be, but, like, it's really low.
I mean, it comes down to what you said earlier of just like a lot of these posts could be solved with,
Yeah.
did you talk to them?
Have you used your mouth part?
Yeah, but I mean, it sounds like
I mean, but
it sounds like in all
thieves-
these they have
They
attempted.
have,
like,
Food thieves
yeah.
cannot be reasoned with.
No.
They don't.
No, I understand.
Yeah, some people just suck. All right, we got our last
Be
one.
poisoned, I guess.
We got our last one, and it continues to be the revenge. I actually really like this one. All right. Am I the busshole for bringing my sister-in-law's wallet to the restaurant when she conveniently always forgets it?
Oh, that is passive aggressive.
Passive
Yeah.
aggressive as hell, but also like.
I mean, if you've got if you know someone who's always running a scam,
Yeah.
and you accidentally
Oh, I forgot
undercut
my
their
wallet.
and you intentionally undercut their scam,
Yeah.
I like feel
Yeah, like-
goated.
I have a low patience for people who try and do that kind of thing because I have run into, not that specific one, but I have run into someone low key trying to do one of those cheap scams all the time.
I had a similar, not similar instance, but a very funny Surgism, our good buddy Serge over MagicCon Vegas, where he doesn't have Uber on his phone, and him and I were staying together, so I bought every Uber for like the entirety of that trip, and we would always, because it's Surge, have to go for like off somewhere to like a fancy coffee place.
Sure.
Right. So after 2 or 3 days of this, Serge was like, I got breakfast for you today, buddy. And I was like, cool. And I'm like, and at no point did I ever, because Serge and I constantly go back and forth on like, buying each other things.
You don't think about
part
it.
of being best friends.
Yeah.
So we get to the restaurant, or we get to the place. He goes up, orders, and he'll usually get like 2 or 3 coffees, and like a sandwich kind of a thing. And so he gets all these, and I'm like, okay, great. And he's like, and then he starts walking away, and the person's like, and what would you like? And I was like, oh, I think he got me. But Serge had already left. And he's like, oh, what did he order? And he was like, oh, 2 coffees and 1 sandwich. And so I'm like, oh, I guess I'll order my latte and this, and I come and I bring it. He did not. He completely forgot. That he said he would do that. Didn't remember it until the final day where we went out to go have dinner together. And he's like, oh my God, I totally forgot. It's okay. I'll buy you dinner tonight. Bill finally comes around for dinner. Wizards of the Coast is like, oh no, this is on us.
There's a pattern here.
Yeah, and I was just like,
Man,
Surge. So, yeah.
one of the other questions I have for this, I'm like, it's 2024. Like, you forgot your wallet. Like, first time, sure, whatever. Second time, cool, e-transfer me.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, or Venmo or whatever.
Yeah, whatever weird American stuff you have.
All right, so, am I the busshole for bringing my sister-in-law's wallet to the restaurant when she conveniently always forgets it? Also, the giveaway has just ended. It's going to go on
cool
down for like a little bit, and then as soon as this story is done, we're done talking about it, we will give away for that big, sweet chair.
Yeah.
So, my female 28 sister-in-law, Amy, this person is 28.
Sure.
Sister-in-law, Amy, who is 26, always comes to visit from out of town. She stays with us instead of a hotel and always wants to go out to the expensive restaurants. She always conveniently forgets her wallet or domes up with some excuses as to why she can't pay her share. She's implied that since I make much more money than her, I should be the one to pay. No, not my husband should pay, but me specifically. I do make a fair share of money, but not so much that I can treat someone every time they come into town. Nonetheless, in the past, I've just paid the bill, asked her to pay me back, and she never has. She had made a reservation at an extremely expensive restaurant last night, and before we left, I made it clear I am not paying her bill tonight. This is where I might be the busshole, and I'll admit I got this move straight from an episode of 2.5 Men. Wow, 2.5 Men.
Right. Stealing from Sheen is a move.
As we were leaving, her and my husband went to the car. I pretended I forgot something and went back inside. I found her wallet sitting right on top of her suitcase. I put it in my purse and we went to the restaurant. When we were done eating, I asked for separate bills. She said, no, we need one bill because she forgot her wallet again. I reached into my purse and said, oh, this wallet? She was furious. She said that I should not have touched or grabbed her wallet. So, am I the busshole for taking her wallet and bringing it to the restaurant?
I think no.
It's tough, right? This is not cut and dry. It sounds like it should be cut and dry, but it's like you also just started like touching someone else's stuff.
you warned them pretty clearly,
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm not gonna pay for you, and you purposely did this.
Yeah.
I'm no, but no-ish.
Sure.
Because it's not so much about the touching of the stuff, so much as about, like, she knew that this would be at least a semi-public, semi-humiliating experience for her sister when she grabbed the wallet.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm intending to embarrass you in this restaurant.
Yeah, she didn't hop in the car and be like, it's like, oh, hey, I noticed, it's like, you left this on the counter.
Yeah. Like, however, like this, the younger sister, the one who's always forgetting the wallet, like, is very, very clearly pulling an intentional scam deliberately, regularly.
Yeah.
I have also run into that with someone I used to be friends with a long time ago, where they would pull something similar and be like, oh, you make more money than me, you can pay for dinner. Mm-hmm. And eventually I was like, cool, That's the last time that's ever happening. I'm
Yeah.
never buying you anything again for any reason. Like, hard line.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. Like, they probably could have just been like, they hopped back in the car and said,
Like,
"Oh, on my way back, I saw your wallet.
Yeah.
Here you go."
Yeah.
What I would have done in a similar situation would have been like, oh no, sorry, like I've told you I'm not paying for this. Good luck sorting it out with the restaurant.
Yep.
I'm leaving.
It's tough though, because then you're putting the restaurant in the like the poor like.
Yeah.
I wanted.
I'm out.
My life is a
I'm not
consistent thing of doing the least amount of issues to servers that I can.
I don't want to do anything to a server, but in my opinion, I'm not doing anything to the restaurant. The sister has deliberately done that.
Yeah.
I've just opted out.
But then you get into this whole position where it's like, yeah, it's the relative of your spouse, kind of a thing, and.
I
Where are
also
they?
wouldn't ever let her stay with me again. After one of these.
Yeah,
I'd be
I mean,
like,
that's
cool,
big.
no, get a hotel.
By the way,
Doesn't
where's the spouse of this?
Yeah.
Apparently they're just here, like, you
He's
know,
just
a typical man, am I right? Just like not
Well, 'cause
waiting
it's-
in.
no, so
Yeah.
like the storyteller, it's the storyteller, her husband, and her older
husband.
sister.
Yeah.
so the
Like I think
storyteller.
there's like 3 people.
I thought the storyteller was the older.
No, storyteller 24.
No, so the
Sister
yeah, the storyteller is 28. The sister's 26. So I
I
assume
just
the
misheard.
husband is somewhere in
And
there.
it's the husband's sister, right? It's a sister.
Yes, it's the husband's sister.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. When you get into like the relatives of your family or
Oh,
of your
it's-
spouse.
Oh, it's her sister-in-law.
There is
Yeah.
also there
Yeah.
also appears to be an
Ooh.
element of like, hey, it doesn't sound like you and your husband have talked about this and resolved this problem like adults.
Yeah.
Like
I think Busshole because they did a 2.5 Men reference in the year
Yeah.
of our Lord 20.
I have no idea when this
Yeah.
was. Maybe it was when 2.5 Men was relevant.
Is the
does that-
subtitle?
is there any point at which taking an action cue from Charlie
Charlie
Sheen does not make you the busshole?
Yeah, you know what I think.
Yeah,
I think,
even
yeah.
if it was a later thing, you're taking it from Ashton Kutcher, so.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Not better.
Yeah, sorry to remind you all that happened.
Yeah.
Post-punked career at
Yeah.
70s show. Yeah.
It just
Like post-punk, but pre-crypto.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man.
Still in
I mean,
the
I
crypto game.
don't. I'm not let down. Actually, I didn't have a lot of
Oh, are you
stock
not
riding
cool
on Kutcher